This is concerning the terror scourge in Jammu and Kashmir, where fresh exchange of fire has been reported between terrorists and security forces in the Doda district. Now, firing took place in the Bhalesa area of Doda. One policeman has been injured in this exchange of fire. Remember, this is the fourth attack in 4 days in the Jammu region, ladies and gentlemen, where it seems the operations of the terror infrastructure has shifted from the Kashmir Valley to the Jammu region. Those are the latest visuals on your screen of the security operation currently underway in Doda. Remember, this is the second attack in Doda in the last 24 hours. This is taking place in the Bhalesa region. Earlier, the attack took place at an army checkpoint in Doda, and now the situation is grim as one policeman has been injured in this attack in Doda. It seems the terror epicenter, ladies and gentlemen, in Jammu and Kashmir is clearly shifting. To get more details from Ground Zero, I'm joined by my colleague Ishan Vani on the broadcast. Ishan, over to you. What is the latest?
Well, yes, the J&K police has said that they had information about the movement of these militants in the upper reaches of Doda, and that's when the Special Operation Group, Jammu and Kashmir Police, was sent in these areas to search for those militants. And that's when an exchange of gunfire took place between two sides. And the initial exchange of gunfire, a constable identified as Farid has received injuries. He's from the Special Operation Group unit of the J&K police. As we speak, we are told by police that there's an exchange of gunfire that's taking place. But yes, this is concerning given the fact that it's the fourth time in just few days there has been a clash between police and the militants. This points out at the figure at the fact that these militants are large in numbers, be it the Doda, be it Riyasi, be it Rajouri, Poonch. It indicates the fact that also that there's an attempt to destabilize the Jammu region, as we have been reporting, and the number of incidents as they grow by the time, it shows that there is a good large presence of these foreign militants who have packed themselves, who are well trained with sophisticated equipment to survive in these forest areas are present there, and that is why we're seeing now more and more contacts being established between the militants and the security forces. However, it remains to be seen is whether it's the same group that yesterday had fired at the security forces before escaping, and since then there has been an operation going on in Doda entire region. The DIG of the range has told the media today that there's a possibility of 3 or 4 militants who are part of a group who are roaming around the vicinity, and they have an intelligence input about their presence in the area. Remember, Doda is not a new place for these militants to survive. In the 94 from 94 to around 2001, it was one of the hotbeds of militancy, and there was an attempt to revive militancy back then as well. So yet they're trying to explore those weak links and trying to destabilize Jammu region, the entire region, and that's why at least 4 or 5 districts, if I'm not wrong, have seen these incidents in the few months, including Udhampur, Riyasi, Kathua, Rajouri and Poonch being the prominent ones. There's an attempt being made to that side. But how does the police really control it? Because this exchange of gunfire right now in Doda is going on, though 2 militants were killed today in Kathua. But there's an exchange of gunfire that is now taking place in Doda as well, where one policeman has suffered injuries. Remember, earlier one CRPF Jawan was killed in action in Kathua, while a civilian was also hurt. So yes, the priority for the government, as communicated by the Lieutenant Governor today, is that they won't spare anybody who's responsible for killing innocents or targeting civilians, or anybody who comes along with arms and ammunition to the Indian side and tries to destabilize any part of Jammu and Kashmir. So that seems to be the priority. But as of now, in Doda, the firing is going on. This is a mountainous and remote area where this encounter has taken place. So it might take for some time for the security forces to continue this operation, given the fact that it's a night time, and they would want to take precaution and not cause any casualties within the security establishment.
Right. And Ishan, very quickly, what is the analysis of the security establishment? Is this a network of OGWs, or are these fighters from across the border?
Without the help of OGW, it's impossible for any militant to survive in these harsh conditions, and particularly when they're living in the mountains. They have to come down to purchase, and to make purchases, they generally take help of overground workers. Aishman, you might be knowing that there are a lot of, people from Rajouri, Poonch, and these areas who have settled across, and many of them, home police and security establishment have blamed in the past for trying to grow the OGW network in that area before these militants were sent in, using their old contacts contacting those who have been in touch with them in the 90s before they shifted their bases from Rajouri, Poonch, and those areas to across. So yes, they are trying to explore that link, and while trying to destabilize that part, we had seen in the 90s when there was a large pressure on these groups when they were trying to diminish the Kashmir Valley. Back then also there was an attempt from Pakistan to destabilize Jammu as well, and then settle a lot of militants there by training them. But one has to see that how does the Jammu and Kashmir police approach it now, including the Indian Army and the paramilitary forces who are working on the ground in the Jammu division.
Right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Ishan, for getting us the latest. This is another point of concern, ladies and gentlemen. The fourth terror attack in the Jammu region in the last 4 days, ladies and gentlemen. The terror epicenter shifting from the Kashmir Valley down to the Jammu region, with the Rajouri Poonch belt becoming a hotbed of terror activities. A huge challenge for the security infrastructure to crack down on the terror nexus operating from that area.